folks. Thanks for taking this step. In the next few minutes, I'll be sharing with you a little about 2021 and the good auspicious sectors to look out for, whether it is for your own home or your offices or your workshops, whatever it is. This applies and this helps, and I hope the next few minutes will be a huge smart investment of your time for yourself. So the smartest investment you will be making right now is to understand and prepare for 2021, because we all know how challenging 2020 is, and what most of us experience is actually unexplainable. So we are already in December, so we made it, and congratulations. So what do I hope to see is actually a better 2021 for every one of you right here. So I will be doing my part and contribute some knowledge on simple things that we can do to enhance our luck a little bit. So let's talk about feng shui contribution to a typical household or a location, and let's allocate a percentage of how impactful this feng shui is to any location. So largely at 60%, the external landform is differentiating the good and the great in any location. So the rest of the 40% is constitutes of the internal feng shui, and here we are talking about the Sanhe feng shui as well as the flying star feng shui. So external feng shui is basically determined by the landform that encompass the proximity of this location, so up to a certain distance, and to determine the impact and the speed at which one feels the effect of this feng shui. So usually upon moving to a new home, we can determine if the house feng shui is good or bad simply in 3 to 6 months time. We can feel it within 3 to 6 months time, so you don't have to be staying for 20 years to know how bad a place is or how good the feng shui is of this location. So in this video, we will be focusing on the 40% that we can configure, and in particularly, I will be talking about the flying star mapping for 2021, the year of the ox. So I'll be showing you guys what sectors can be great, what is bad, and how we can provide solutions to these bad sectors so that we can balance out this bad, we can reduce the power of the not so good sectors in 2021, and our aim here is to achieve a better balance. So 2020, as we know it, is a year full of conflict, of argument, of chaos, and usually in flying star, the center sector is the overall summary depicting the overview of the year. So in 2020, the center is governed by the number 7 star. So star 7, what is it? Star 7 is a fighting star. It usually denotes disagreement, conflict, and we see that all over the place. So there are nations arguing and pointing fingers and blame at who started the viruses and things like that. And recently we have the Australian getting offended by some Chinese officials tweeting. Okay, so let's start simple. We look ahead. We forget about 2020 and let's welcome 2021, but we make sure that it will be definitely better than 2020 by applying the next few things that I'm going to share about. So it can't get any worse than 2020. So let's take a look at the center star for 2021. And let's start simple so everyone can follow. So in 2021, the center is taken up by star number 6. So is this good or bad? Is star number 6 good or bad? We have to understand this, that there are 3 white stars in flying star that are auspicious. So these 3 white stars are actually 1, 6, and 8. So 6 is currently in the center for 2021. So number 6, white star, actually represents power, represents wealth, authority, and actually for career, and is impacting those in this industry that actually requires you to be physical at work, like people in the military or people in delivery of physical work, is actually very good. So do note that this is the number 6 star is not a timely star in period 8, which is in period 8 is up to year 2024. So it is actually less powerful as a result of not being timely, but that is fine, because I will tell you why number 6 in the center is actually a very good sector to use in your home. So just to add a bit more information, the timely stars in period 8 are number 8, number 9, and number 1. So the rest are simply not timely. Just take it as it is. And the best star in the period 8 to take note of is actually number 8 star. So each number is actually represented by an element, and each direction in the 9 sectors also carries the energy of an element. So we take a look at the interaction of these elements to see if the outcome is actually good for that sector for that year. So that's how we can determine if it's a good or bad or neutral sector. And before I go on any further, we need to take a look at this visual down here that I've created. This visual actually shows the interaction between the different elements in 3 different cause and effect. So we have the 3 cause and effect, that is the producing cycle, the elements that produces each other. We have the countering cycle, the one that clashes away the element, and then we have the weakening cycle. So these 3 is all about the interaction of the elements here. So you can take a snapshot of this picture here, of this screen here, so we can probably refer to this later on. I will be referring to this quite many times in the video later on. So let's move on to the center star. So that's the 6th white star. So the center sector is always represented by the element of earth. So number 6, as we know it, number 6 is metal element. So the relationship here is that the sector is actually producing number 6. And then so now we need to know what number 6 actually means. So the center is actually producing number 6, which is great. So number 6 can be a wealth star. It can represent prosperity, even though it is not timely, but it is a great sector to enhance, to activate the energy because it is a wealth star. So and we can activate this by putting ornaments like crystals, pishu, money god, or things like that, other symbols of wealth, up to you. So right here, I have to bring up a very important point that I wish to highlight. So remember that these items that I'm suggesting here is just a suggestion, and usually these items that we place generally serve as a reminder of our intentions when we put them there. As in why we are putting this there, because we want to have certain great energy that's going to affect us. So every time we walk past and we see these items, we subconsciously ignite our minds with the positivity of these intentions. So the very intentions of what we want to achieve when we place the items there. So as I speak about, I spoke about this law of attraction in one of my previous videos. We attract what we think, and when whatever we think, we actually send out the thoughts out into the universe, and this universe will actually return with help, with assistance to help us gear ourselves towards the goals that we actually want. So my point here is that it doesn't have to be these items that you place to enhance the sector per se. As long as it kickstarts your positive thoughts, you can place whatever item you like as enhancers. Okay, if we can accept this, let's continue here. Next up, we look at the west direction. And if we look at the west in period 8, number 8 is the best. So 8 white star represents wealth, represents health, prosperity, fame, and success. So in 2021, the west side, the west direction is a very auspicious direction. So west is represented by metal element, and the number 8 star is earth element. So you can see that the relationship here is quite harmonious. Earth produces metal, but too much metal will weaken the earth. So thus the number 8 power is actually weakened. So how do we counter this? We can counter this by reducing the metal in this sector. And how do we reduce the metal? We can either reduce the metal element here, or we can increase the earth energy. So reducing the metal, example, we can reduce white color, or can reduce avoid placing metal objects, or we can increase the earth element by increasing yellow brown color. We can displace ceramics or planter with soil to increase the earth element in this sector, and this sector we are talking about is the west sector. Okay, so just take note of that. Next, we move on to the northwest sector. So the next direction, northwest, we have the number 7 in the northwest sector. So number 7, actually, the 7 red star belongs to metal element. So it is related to fighting, argument, lawsuit, and gossip, and things like that. So in period 8, 7 is not timely. So it displays even more negative attributes which we will need to watch out for. So things like lawsuits or arguments and stuff like that. So Northwest is represented by metal. So in 2021, we have too much metal here in the Northwest sector. So to reduce this metal, we can reduce the white color, the silver, the gold, or metal furniture in this sector. So another way to reduce metal is to actually increase water element. We can use blue or black color or actual water features like fish tanks or ponds in this sector. So let's move on to the north. In the north, we have the number 2 black star. So number 2 is actually earth element. Number 2, black star is actually related to illnesses. So it can bring wealth and prosperity if it is timely, but in period 8, it is not timely. So do watch out for things like 小人 or diseases coming in. So north belongs to actually water element, and earth controls the water element. So there will be water related diseases like kidney or urinary function, things like that. So the solution here is to provide more metal element to this area. So in the north that we are talking about, the reason being is that the metal can actually reduce the power of the earth. So we reduce the power of number 2, which is the illness effect. The illness effect is reduced. So and by doing so, we can balance the water and the earth. And we can introduce this area the color of white, silver, gold, or any metal objects. And if possible, we try to avoid any construction or any renovation here in this sector in the year 2021, because number 2 and number 5 stars are inauspicious. We do not want to activate the energy over here, so we try to keep it as quiet as possible. Okay, next up we have the northeast sector. And northeast sector, we have the 9 purple star right here in 2021. Number 9 is actually fire element. It is an auspicious star related to fame, popularity, and a celebration. So in 2021, number 9 is actually timely. So northeast is very auspicious in 2021. And northeast sector is governed by the earth element. Fire generates earth. So this is actually another example of a good harmonious relationship between the elements. So what that means is that this sector is a good place to activate your money luck. The same effect as number 6 in the center sector. So what you can do to activate money luck in this sector is that you can display money jar, you can display crystals, treasure box, or keep the place quiet and away from traffic, because it's better to be a little hidden so the energy won't scatter too much and we can accumulate the wealth in this sector. So next up we look at east. So we have the number 4 green star in the east sector. Number 4 is a wood element, and number 4 is related to intelligence, talent, wisdom, studies, your promotion, and also your relationship luck. So this is a very auspicious star, but it is not a timely star in period 8. So thus we need to watch out for the negative attributes like a troubled relationship and things like that. So this number 4 actually, although is positive, but it is definitely less powerful in 2021. And east belongs to the wood element. So we have here a combination of 2 woods. So there are too much wood here. And in Chinese metaphysics, we always aim to achieve balance. There's always the yin and yang balance. And when life is balanced, it is smooth and it is very easy. So to reduce the wood in this sector, we have to introduce the element of fire, because fire burns away the wood and it will reduce the too much wood in this sector. So thus we can display anything that is red, orange, or purple, or we have anything that gives out light or heat, like candles or electronics. So this sector, candles and electronics will work. Also, we can enhance the intelligence star here by putting up a Wenchang pagoda or a Chinese ink brush, things like that, just to activate that intelligence star here. And this sector in this year 2021 is a great area where you can set up a study room or a kid's bedroom or office, because it's actually good for their intellectual development. And in the southeast sector, we have this number 5 yellow star. So number 5 is actually an inauspicious star. It's related to misfortune, illness, accident, loss of money. And number 5 is governed by the earth element. Number 5 is not a timely star in period 8, so the negative attributes will actually show up more. So if number 5 is a timely star, it can actually bring lots of wealth and fame, but it's not so in this period 8. So in 2021, the number 5 sits at southeast. Southeast, we have to remember that it is a wood element, and wood actually controls the earth here. So the southeast sector is controlling the number 5 here. And thus, to balance things out, we need to introduce fire element, because wood will be weakened by the fire. So we can display more fire elements in this sector. We can put up more red color, more candlelight, salt lamp, this kind of thing in this sector. And because number 5 is earth element, we want to also reduce the earth element as well. We can add metal to this sector to reduce that earth element. And things like bronze bell to reduce the misfortune brought about by number 5. So we should also avoid construction or any renovation in this area as well. And next we move on to the south. And in the south we have number 1 white star. Number 1 white star relates to intelligence, relates to career, success, fame and wealth. So it is actually very auspicious star in 2021 because it is a timely star in period 8. So south is a very lucky sector. So just take note of that. And how you're going to activate this sector is that we need to understand that number 1 white star is actually water element, and the south is actually fire element. So this water actually controls this fire element. So there will be this water fire conflict that you are going to experience. So one way to balance this conflict out, because we want the good of this sector, is actually to reduce the water element. And we shall use less blue or black color in this area just for the purpose of reducing the water element, and also avoid putting fish tank or fountains in this area in the south as well. So another way to solve the water and fire conflict is to add more wood element. So this is to balance out the water and fire energy. So you can do so by introducing more green color in this sector. And next we move on to southwest. So in the southwest we have the number 3 jade star here. So this belongs to wood element. When it is timely, it can also bring wealth and fame, but in period 8 this is not a timely star. So we have to look out for actually legal problem or conflict or actually gossips from people. So in the southwest sector is actually governed by the element of earth. The wood actually controls, the wood from number 3 actually controls this earth. So there will be earth element problem. And if we are looking in Chinese medicine, we are looking at the health aspect. Earth problem will be stomach and your spleen and things like that. So to balance out this earth and wood, we can introduce fire element into this sector, because the wood actually produces fire and fire produces earth. So it actually mitigates the impact or the negative impacts in this sector. We can display more red, purple or orange, or we can light up candles, or we can put in purple crystals. And some of the purple crystals that one of it that comes up to my mind now is actually amethyst. So we can put that in this sector just to balance things out and just to take advantage of this southwest sector. I wish everyone a much better 2021 than 2020, and hope that everyone stays safe, and I'll see you soon.